Okay. Hey, everyone. So, welcome to the Connections and Conversations with Theo. Um, just want to let everybody know that we are broadcasting on a couple of public channels. The MyRehab Cafe, the MyRehab Helper Facebook profile, the ARC or the MyRehab Facebook page, the Duly Diagnosed YouTube channel. We're broadcasting on all of those channels, and I'm just waiting for the link to come through. So if you'll, let me just see if I can find this link. Sorry, Theo. Doesn't look like I've got it here. Obviously, need to post that. Anyway, but I'll post the link in a minute. Theo, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand it over to you. But guys, we are going to be switching over to the private and unsearchable Facebook group, the MyRehab Cafe, after about 10-15 minutes. So if you want to know more about the MyRehab Cafe, go to www.myrehab.com or myrehabcafe.com. You can find out more how to join there. There's a lot of interesting stuff on that channel, on that platform. And yeah, with that, Theo, I'm going to hand it over to you, and then let me find this link, okay?
Cool. What is up, everybody? Welcome to MyRehab Cafe, and this is the public channel. And thank you, Ryan, for everything that you do for us and for hosting this platform. You know, I've gotten so much out of this platform. I think everybody who jumps on and views is able to access a lot of content and a lot of perspectives. When it comes to addiction and transitioning into recovery, you know, that's a monumentous task, you know, in itself. You know, yeah. It's simple in the fact that you essentially almost got to change everything. It's simple, but it's complex. And so we start this channel. We bring topics to this channel. We bring content to this channel. And for whoever's watching, be able to take one concept or one idea or maybe a light bulb will go on. Maybe it will be a starting point of a fantastic journey of recovery. Maybe, you know, I remember in my addiction, I was just like, please, just give me something to hold on to. Just give me a starting point. And I hope tonight you will find that in our topic tonight, which is called Cognitive Restructuring, a solution-focused mindset. One of my favorite topics. And I look forward to sharing this all with you. When we get into recovery, all right, and we don't focus or we don't start working on the mindset and the pathology and the things that got us into that place of addiction in the first place, if we don't look at that, if we don't look at that, our thinking styles, how do we resolve conflict, what are our beliefs, all of that stuff, if we don't, you know, if we don't change the patterns that got us, you know, addicted, and we don't address those things, you know, the probability of us replicating that going forward is quite high. And so I'm quite excited to share this with you tonight, cognitive restructuring. So without further ado, welcome everybody. Let's jump into this. Right? The first year of abstaining from an addiction is probably the most difficult. Okay. If we think of what the substance does when we ingest a substance, right, and our body metabolizes, goes into our kidney, our liver, goes into our bloodstream, it gets pumped into our brain. You you know, it is a known fact that addiction does distort thinking and it distorts emotion. Loss of both control and perspective are common occurrences in a recovering individual's life. During the critical period, most of the typical temptations, triggers, and cognitive challenges will occur at some point. If you successfully identify and deal with these challenges in a logical manner, only then will we be able to self-manage, and I just want to emphasize that word, self-manage, and maintain stability. This is where cognitive restructuring plays an important role. So there are two main causes of cognitive distortions. Some experts say that it can come from childhood programming, things that we learned and had instilled into us by our relatives, parents, caretakers. You know, a common expression is, well, that's the way dad did it, or that's the way mom did it, or that's the way my auntie did it, or that's the way my uncle did it. So that's the way I'm going to do it. That's the way dad did
it. Hey, Chris.
You know, I remember a specific incident growing up as a child where I think I was about 5 years old. I remember driving in the car with my dad. And if you watch previous videos, you know, I've kind of painted a picture of my dad. He's very militant, very non-emotional, very aggressive person. I do love him to bits, though. But I remember driving in the car with him, and someone cut him off in the road. I'm 5 years old. I'm sitting in the passenger seat. My dad jumps out the car with a bat, and he goes and he starts smashing the car in front of him. Right? I'm 5 years old. I'm watching this, okay, and I'm taking it all in. Right? Fast forward to the next day. I'm at school. Somebody takes my pencil. What do? You know, I replicate that behavior because I kind of take that in. That's how we that's how we resolve conflict. That's how we deal with conflict. Cognitive distortions stem from observation of how families cope with difficult situations. They stem from family beliefs and can be positive or self-defeating beliefs. There are also things we learn in our own environment, ways of thinking and strategies that once protected us from harm may not be working for us anymore in recovery. So there's strategies that we've learned and these coping mechanisms that we've learned that once upon a time, way back when, you know, did yield some kind of relief or some kind of protection or some sense of safety. But now, as we transition into recovery, those coping mechanisms may not serve us as well, or it may even hinder us, because we're stepping into recovery. We're stepping into a whole new realm of existence. We're stepping into a whole new way of dealing with life and conflict and relationships and temptations and delayed gratification and all of those things. So there are things that we learn in our own environment, ways that we think, and strategies that once protected us from harm may not be working for us anymore in recovery. So they stem from self-defeating thoughts that often justified our actions or inactions and affected our freedom to move ahead. Now, guys, I'm just laying the foundation here, so jump in anytime. Through this childhood programming and through learning environmental habits, short-term solutions were sought and practiced until they became one's go-to default mechanism. People under great pressure or stress are more apt to take cognitive shortcuts, resulting in less accurate and more distorted interpretations of reality. All right. These self-limiting thoughts keep people stuck in old patterns that don't always work to their benefit. In recovery, these patterns are called addictive thinking behaviors and are the very thing that we must learn how to deconstruct this unhelpful way of thinking. In the first crucial year of recovery, those who have abused substances may not be in full control of things happening around them. We need help. We need help. What a great thing to say. Like, if we can get to a place where we go, help me, I need help, I think is a great place to be. We need help in learning how to change the way that we look at ourselves and the world. According to Terence T. Gorski, one of my favorite authors and practitioners in the addiction field, an expert in substance abuse prevention, people in early recovery are still going to have to face their addictive thinking patterns and the feelings that follow, right? Think about it. Addiction is a very emotionally motivated behavior, or a very emotionally motivated thing. I don't want to feel like this, I want to feel like that. I don't like feeling like this, I prefer to feel like that. It's very emotionally driven. When we start talking about logic, trying to bring logical thinking in an addictive cycle, and we can get into the neuroscience of all of this, but to try and engage someone logically, I remember in the midst of my addiction, people, friends, family would come up to me and say, Theo, like, well, logically, what are you doing? What are you doing to yourself? Can't you see how you're damaging yourself? Can't you see how you're affecting the people around you? Can't you see how much money that's costing you? Can't you? All those logical things. But my mind wasn't in a logical place. my mind was acting from an emotional place. Really, all I wanted to do was just feel a bit different. I just wanted to feel better. I didn't want to feel the way I felt. There was no logic involved. Yes, you point out those things, and I would just feel even more guilty about it, and then continue with my destructive behavior. Addictive thought patterns are totally different than logical thinking, in that addictive thinkers do not reach conclusions based on evidence and reason or fact, but on needs, feelings, and immediacy. Okay, guys, we're going to go to work tonight. All right. A typical sequence could be, I'm feeling nervous. This has happened to me before. I need a drink. I need a puff, I need a drug, and I need it now. Or I'm feeling agitated, confused, or frustrated. I can't cope, so I'm leaving. You see the person then builds a case around the conclusion or desired outcome, whether it is logical or not, or whether or not the facts support it. So I remember, if I think of my logical or my reasoning behind why I would pick up the phone and phone my dealer at when everyone's going to bed at 10 o'clock or whatever, if I think of the logic that I formulated, or the justification for that, was that the thought of me having to spend the night just with me, having to deal with me, was more terrifying. And I believed that if I didn't get out of this emotional space that I was in, that something catastrophic was going to happen. And you'll hear me say that as you get to know me, that for some reason I formulated a belief that if I don't get out of this emotional space now, that something catastrophic is going to happen. But fast forward, as I went into rehab and my drug was taken away, and that feeling of angst and anxiety and low self-esteem and plus, you name it, when those emotions came up, but I didn't have access to my drug of choice, what happened? What happened? Was it a catastrophe? No. Did I feel uncomfortable? Yes. Did I feel agitated? Yes. But yeah, an uncomfortable feeling never harmed anyone. Okay. Agitation doesn't harm you. Okay. What you do with that agitation, yes, that can be detrimental. But the actual emotion of agitation is quite harmless. What you do with that emotion is what matters. Okay. Is
Theo,
everyone still-
I wanna just interrupt you there. So I'm gonna switch us over to the Maria Cafe. You've raised a lot of interesting points there, and I know I'm gonna have a lot of questions. I see we got a couple of viewers in the Maria Cafe that might be wanting to participate. So thanks to everyone on the public channels that's participated or that's watched or that's been viewing. Again, if you want to know more about the Maria Cafe, please go to www.mariacafe.com or mariab.com. And yeah, with that, we'll see you guys on the other side. If you could just mute your mics for a quick 20 seconds.